Hi, yeah, I'm wearing my new Christmas scarf, no big deal. The pom-poms. Guys, the pom-poms. I want you to realize this important and not very difficult thought. You can buy some yarn, you can spend as much money as you can afford. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot. You can spend a little money, you can buy some yarn, and you can make this. And people keep telling me that you can't buy happiness. Excuse me? If this is not happiness, I don't know what is. I don't know, maybe I am biased. Maybe I love them because I created them. I'm calling my scarf them because it's a scarf and two pom-poms. I'm sorry, this is what it is. And I can't get over it, I think. And I'm a little afraid that I won't create anything better than this. Maybe because they are red on a very calm, muted grey scarf. Maybe because they are so big. I don't know, guys. I just think it's the best thing I've ever made. And now, actually, I'm starting to think that after penicillin and the discoveries that save lives, this is the next one. Leave a comment if you have seen something better than this. Good for you. I haven't. Okay, actually, I can't even remember if I said hello. This is Julia, and Julia's knitting, and I'm very glad to see you after 2 weeks. I missed you. And I finished making my scarf. I blocked it. I started writing the pattern. I am very not sure if I can finish it by Christmas, but I will try. It's okay if I don't. That's my affirmation. That's okay if I don't. That's okay if I don't. That's okay. It's okay if I don't. As you can say, I love this scarf. I will never take it off from now on. And welcome back. Take your beverage, take your knitting. Let's spend around 20 minutes together. I want to make sure the sound is good. So just for these 20 minutes, I'll put the scarf here. It will be like two Rudolph's noses there, right? And then as soon as I record this, I'll put it back on. Okay, this has been a productive time for me. I'm kind of inspired by Christmas and by knitting and by winter in general. I feel that the videos have been very helpful in terms of, you know, I know that in 2 weeks I have to show you something. I don't have to, I can just show what I have, but if I have a little, it makes me sad, it makes me, you know, I'd love to have something to show you. And this keeps me going, and I feel that I'm more focused when I just sit down to knit something. I'm no longer on my phone, you know, I don't know, thinking, okay, I'm going to read a book right now, but then I'll knit. And then when I read something, I think, okay, I'm going to eat, I'm going to have lunch, and then I'll knit. No distractions. If I sit down to knit, I start knitting. In some way, it has been like a therapy for me, because I always tell you how I knit, what I knit, how it makes me feel, and it's therapeutic. So recommend. Maybe if you are not ready for a video blog, maybe just, I don't know, maybe a chat with knitting friends. Maybe, I don't know, text me, leave me a comment, like, I knit this today. Maybe it's your journal, it's your diary, just, dear diary, dear diary, I made a sock today and I didn't get distracted. I feel that it helps me. You know, I always, when someone asks me, oh, you knit, it must be so calming. I wonder, I'm not surprised. I know that knitting is calming, but I'm a little at a loss for words, because for a long time I have thought knitting is not that calming. It's maybe not exciting, but it gets me interested. It keeps me interested. Like, you have to count all the time, and you have to follow the pattern, like to remember that, okay, in this row I should switch the cables or something. And it's not calming. It's not like not calming, but I don't need, because I am, you know, overexcited and I need to calm down. No, that's not why I need. And at this point, I'm not changing my mind, but I am feeling it. I'm feeling other sides, other aspects, that because I knit all the time, I've been knitting almost all my life, maybe because of that, partly because of that, I don't need calming down. I'm quite rarely, you know, overexcited, so anxious that I cannot, you know, just live my life. I'm rarely in a state when I can't stop moving, for example. That's not about me, but now I'm thinking that maybe because I am into knitting, crafting, you know, all these things that calm me down, and I don't wait for a moment when I need calming down. I do it in advance. I do it like constantly, like people do sports, you know, they don't get weak and then get back into shape. They do sports every day so that they don't get, I don't know, whatever they don't want to get, weaker. I hope you get what I mean. And I'm not propaganding knitting. I'm saying, look into something that you like, that is calming. You know, what could you do every day? Maybe it's reading, but in reading, I think when you're reading, you should choose carefully what you're reading, because, you know, last week something strange happened with reading for me, but I'll tell you that in the last segment, the book of the week. That's funny. Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of refreshing my relationship with knitting nowadays. Is it possible? Why not? You can refresh your relationship with people. Why not knitting, right? Let's see. I showed you my scarf already, and now I'd like to show you a thing that I forgot to show you last time. I told you about the fingerless gloves. Okay, give me a second. This was the one that I was making. And this is what happened. You see, I can't even say that I counted it wrong, because I was aware of counting, you know, I didn't miscount. I just thought it would be different. It would look different. So the central arrow that should be in the center of the palm of the hand is not in the center. And you could do it like this, but then it's not comfortable here, and with time it just slips into its place, into its comfortable place. That's why I decided to remake it. Plus, the thumb was too wide, and I wanted it to be a little bit wider. I added just, I think, 2 or 4 stitches. I can't remember. And you know, some things, this line of increases is too sudden, you know. I wanted it to be more gradient. So I thought, there are a lot of small things, I will remake it, that's okay. I made another one, and I can't show it to you because I unraveled it because the line of the thumb, you know, these increases, I made them in the center here. See, this is the central line, and 2 increases are going from it. In the second mitten, I decided to make it to make 1 increase into one direction, not 2 from the you know, like a raglan line. They go like a tree, but I decided for it to be a one-side increase, and I did it, but it was in a wrong place, so I unraveled it. But the central iron was in place, was okay, and a lot of things were, you know, actually good. And now I have another mitten, the third one. This one I'm going to unravel because I used it just to not forget how many stitches were in which place. So this is the third mitten I got, and now I'm thinking the thumb is a little bit too narrow. I made it, well, it's just tight. It fits me. It's not too small, but probably I want it to be a little bit more loose, like 2 more stitches, maybe even 1, you know. And now I'm thinking, do I like this line or not? Because now it's much further. Maybe I'm thinking I should start it here, and then it should come right into the place where the thumb separates, right, from the hand. I don't know. You see, first I started the increases here, then I changed my mind and put it here. Now I'm thinking bringing it back here, or maybe a little bit to the right. I don't know, but the front is okay, I think. The iron is in the middle. I'm not sure you can read the cables. All right, you can. What are we thinking? Yay or nay? You know, I'm kind of married to this idea of having these fingerless mittens. I already have ideas where to wear them, when to wear them, with what to wear them, and I'd like to finish them, and at the same time I don't have the final idea of what it should look like. So I am hesitating and procrastinating a little bit, to be honest. We'll see. Looks cute, right? And I think the color might be my color. What do you think? No? Well, maybe some of them at least. At least these darker brown, burgundy, you know, reddish things. They're cold dark red. Can't promise you anything, as always. We'll see how it goes. But even if I don't finish them, that's okay, because I have a lot of stuff going on. For example, a sock, ladies and gentlemen. It is not something scary, don't worry. I just put the yarn I made it from here. I have a basket with, actually this is it, this is the basket I'm talking about, where all the sock yarn lives. Like when I made socks and I have something left, I put it in this basket. And then when I don't know what to do, or when I'm in the mood for socks, and in winter I feel like I'm always in the mood for socks, especially, you know, not the fine like 2mm needle sock, but this thick 3mm needle sock. I take yarns that are nice together and make a pair of socks. And this time I took all the gray and black and white and such yarn. This lighter yarn is the yarn I used for Halloween, for the bat socks I made for Halloween. This darker yarn, I can't remember. Did I buy it? Did I use it? I can't remember how I have it. I think it was on sale and I bought it. Oh right, I made socks for my, well, for my friends / relatives. And it was there was a family of 3, a wife, a husband, and a daughter. So for the husband, I made socks, I think, from this yarn, and I had the same in red and in blue. So they all had like black, blue, and red. The family of 3. This one, the heel, the neck, the cuff, and the toe, is from the socks I made last year with the. By the way, with the same red yarn from the gift I talked about. So you see how it works. It's, you just take yarns that suit each other or that have the same theme, you know, and you put them together, and they usually work. And actually, my favorite socks are not the ones that I bought a special yarn for, but the ones that are made, you know, like Frankenstein's monsters made of pieces of other socks. If you put just a little bit of thought into them, it works. So this is a big size sock, maybe 40 something, 44, 46, I'm not sure. So it's for a big foot. So whenever some of our tall and large friends come to visit, and they are cold, we have socks for them. Well, a sock yet, but I'm quite sure I'll finish the second one. I actually get asked all the time how should I start knitting? I always see you knitting and it inspires me, but then when I have time, when I have, you know, the opportunity to go to the shop and buy some yarn and some needles, I don't know where to start. I don't know, it's so intimidating that it's that I don't start at all. And considering in terms of socks, they always ask me, okay, I can somehow with a lot of resistance make one, but the second, never. First of all, it turns out to be different, like different size, and second of all, it takes forever. Like the first sock takes a long time, and the second takes, I don't know, years, centuries in making. If you recognize yourself in this, the tips I would give you is, first of all, it should be a plain stockinette stitch. If you are just starting, even though it seems that it's so boring that a beginner can't deal with it, I think you should somehow, I don't know, talk yourself into it. You can even make a sock without a ribbing in the end, in the beginning. You see, you can just make, if it helps you, you can just make it stockinette all along. Why? Because then you have a sock on your needles and you just grab it and knit and nothing else. Well, of course, you will have to be focused for the heel and then in the end for the toe. But all the other sock you can make with just stockinette stitch. And this means you can take it to the car when you are a passenger, to the bus, to the train, to any transport you are using. You can take it when you are watching TV or listening to something, talking to someone, when you are in a queue waiting for something. You see what I'm getting at? Whatever you are doing, if your hands are free, if you are not like doing the dishes or vacuuming, you can knit at the same time. I knit in the car, for example. I make a lot. If my husband's driving, the car is such a place that you don't get distracted. You just knit and you talk and you chat and you listen to music or podcasts and you just knit. It goes very fast. Totally recommend if you feel okay, if you don't get dizzy. And I also knit when I'm studying, like when I'm having a Finnish lesson, for example. I'm at the computer, I'm talking, I'm thinking, and my hands are, I'm such a person that I can't be without anything in my hands. You see what I'm doing here? That's because I don't have knitting in my hands. So that's tip number 1, just plain stockinette stitch, because then you can knit it everywhere and you know that you pick it up and you should just knit. That's it. The second tip is to get self-striping yarn. This is amazing. You can combine the first and the second tip actually, because you use just a stockinette stitch, but if you have a self-striping yarn, which are actually the most yarns nowadays, sock yarns, it's magic. You just count these 3 to 6 rows. You're waiting for these 3 to 6 rows finish, and you're waiting for the next color. And then the next color comes and you see that the next one is speckled, for example. And you think, wow, I wonder how they look together. And you're waiting for it, and then you knit the first row and you can't see anything, it's just one row. You need the second. The second, okay, it gives you something, but it's not enough. You need the third and maybe the fourth. And when you finish the third and the fourth, you have a result already. And you are craving more result, if you get what I mean. And so on and so on. So this stripes give you the sense of accomplishment. So you accomplish something all the time. And that's why you want to go on. Then you just need to take a break and focus for the hill. Same color, different color, whatever you prefer and whatever you're ready for. And then you continue with the stockinette stitch, and it really helps. Believe me, it really helps. Well, at the first, I don't know, 2, 3 pairs, 5, it depends on, it differs, it's different for everyone. You will struggle a little bit, you know, you will feel that it's kind of it's not fair that you finished one sock and then you have to do the second. But with time, nowadays, I am programmed, I think, this way, that I know that this is half of the work, and I don't get upset that I need another sock. It's just, I know I made a half and I need to make another one, the second one, so that's okay. And I hope you will get there too. But you know, actually, if you want, you can either buy 2 sets of needles and knit the socks at the same time, you know, for example, 2 socks at the same time. For example, you knit a ribbing here, you knit a ribbing on the second one. You knit the cuff here. What is it called? It's not a cuff. Or is it? Well, you make this part here and on the second one. The hill. Maybe it will be easier for you. Try. There is also a thing called magic loop. Maybe you know it. But personally, I hate it. And it's more complicated. It's totally doable. But for me, it's more enjoyable to knit like one sock from start to finish and then another. But if you are doubting yourself, well, first of all, don't. And second of all, Google magic loop. It may help you. So, a sock, everybody. And actually, I started one more sock. I just, started it this morning, so it's just a start. The yarn looks like this. And this is what I'm talking about. It's a self-striping yarn. These stripes I made myself. And these stripes make themselves. So you have a piece of green, for example, then you have a piece of pink, white, purple, whatever. And the stripes are forming. And these are for my husband. He doesn't like, I can't remember if I told you, he doesn't like my hats. Well, not my hats, knitted hats. He doesn't care much for knitted sweaters, but he loves knitted socks. Whenever I offer to knit him a pair of socks, he says yes, he agrees. And this was not an exception. I showed him the yarn I thought he would like. And he immediately said, okay, I love it, make me a new pair of socks. We wear socks instead of slippers in our home, so I feel that, well, especially he will never have too much socks. I like slippers too, but he hates slippers. He never wears shoes at home, so he always wears woolen socks. That's why never too many pairs of socks, and I think I'll show you more next time. Okay, the next thing. I think that everything left is kind of Christmassy. Well, this one is not like Christmas, but you know, it's green, and I chose the color so that I can decorate it with something red, you know, maybe a red t-shirt underneath, and you get yourself a Christmas outfit. This will be a cardigan. It's actually from the Drops website. I chose the yarn I liked, the yarn that I made the scarf with. It's soft, it's not very expensive, it feels stable, you know, it holds itself. So I loved it. I wanted to try something else out of this yarn, and there is a cardigan called Winter Rain cardigan on the Drops website. It's all the errands and cables. This is what I have wanted for a long time. A cardigan, first of all, because all my other stuff are jumpers. I only need jumpers for some reason, and I need a cardigan. I need like several cardigans in a row probably. So it has this buttons. And I decided to make it, you know, somewhat Christmassy, but you see the color is, I would say, even natural, because it's kind of a color of a pine tree, for example, or some kind of moss. So I will be able to wear it any season. This is the collar. It will be held double, like this. It will be double, and these, it's 1x1 rib, but in the not in the middle, but on the sides, it has a cable that will continue. It's a raglan cardigan, and it will continue on the shoulder and on the sleeve. So this will go throughout the whole cardigan. So it's a nice touch. I loved it. And I decided to leave it. So far, it goes smoothly. The pattern, as it often is on websites, on yarn producers' websites, is not very detailed. You know, if you are a beginner, maybe buy a pattern from a designer that cares about this, that makes photos or videos, because I have to read everything like twice, or come back to this detail, like I'm knitting, and then I'm thinking, wait, but what's next? Or what was before that? Or did I do it right? And I come back to the previous step, and sometimes it's confusing. So not for beginners, definitely, but it's going okay. So this is what I have. Oh, sorry. This is what I have. It will be folded. I want to make it 3.5 centimeters high, so maybe a couple of rows more, and then I'll change to 4mm needles and start the body. very excited for this one, and I'll have it on my needles during the Christmas holidays, I assume, so it will be nice. Winter Rain Cardigan. I hope I didn't mess up the name. I think I didn't. The next thing screams Christmas. You know, sometimes in between projects, when I'm just thinking what to knit or crochet next, I have quite genius ideas. And just out of boredom, I started making granny squares using Christmas colors and using the yarn I showed you many times I bought for Christmas, like this sparkly red, this sparkly white and green yarn. I made 8 squares, then I tried to arrange them somehow, and then I thought, okay, if I make 4 more and then do something else like the bottom and the neck, I'll make myself a bottle cozy. And that's exactly what I did. So this one I made the same way I made the whole other cozy, the whole autumn cozy. You see, it's a spiral half double crochet cozy. This one is the same. This upper part is the same. It's just shorter. That's why the spiral is not that obvious. Then I made some seashells on top. I joined the squares. I joined the neck, the upper part. I made the bottom. It's just the usual, you know, the usual spiral. And then I added the ribbon, the red ribbon. And this is what I got. I originally made it for a champagne bottle, but for now I am keeping the pumpkin syrup here that is left from Halloween. So a tip for beginner crocheters: make something that you can finish and then use. If you can make this size of a project, make it and put it like where you can always see it, right on the dinner table, so everyone can see it and everyone can use it and adore it and say how nice it is. If this is too much, make this or this, and also put it right in the center of your tree, or let it be your Christmas wreath. Put it on your door, no matter the size. It's very important. You know, I used to give everything that I knitted and crocheted, to give everything away as presents, and then you can't see what is happening to the things you made, right? Maybe sometimes someone wears your hat, right? But you don't get to fully enjoy the using of the garment. But this way, you use it all the time. This way, I use it all the time. But seriously, use and or wear the things you make, right? Because it's a big part. It's an important part. It happened by itself, it seems. I crocheted several more things. A Christmas wreath. It's a thing when you single or double crochet or half double crochet into the chain twice or even 3 times. I can't remember. 3. I single crocheted 3 into every chain I made. So I made a chain, maybe 40 stitches, and I single crocheted 3 into 1 into every stitch. This way you get this spiral. And then you make 2, red and green, and then you mix them together. It all happens, well, almost by itself, actually. And you get yourself a Christmas wreath. This I kind of improvised. I saw something similar online, and I made just 4 squares, 4 red squares, and then I connected them. Then I filled the box with filling, polyester filling. Then the ribbon and the bow are just an I-cord, and that's it. You get yourself a present. It's It's not fantastic. It's just, it's not very good. I didn't put a lot of effort to make it look good, you know, to be honest. But it's Christmassy, especially when you have several, you know, when you have this, remember my candy, my bow, my something else. So they look nice together. I made more bows. I showed them to you. I showed the same, I don't know, recipe last time, but this time I made them yellow with a black ribbon, and I used all the letter beads I had, because they are big, they look nice, and I arranged them by color. So these are red and orange, these are green and yellow, and these are blue, lilac and pink. When I have my own house, these will all be the ornaments I use on my outside tree, if I have one. If I have a house with a tree, a Christmas tree, a pine tree in the garden, I think I will use all of them, because they are nothing will happen to them, right, in any weather, and they look very bright, festive, you know, sparkling, shining. Okay, that's all the knitting I have, but we have the book of the week segment. I showed you The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova last time we met, and I don't even know what to tell you. I continued reading it, I made myself read it, and at some point I was resisting so much to read it that I took another book from the pile from the library I got on my nightstand. And it happened to be the Bridgerton An Offer from a Gentleman book. And it happens to be the book that they are making the new season based on which they are making the new season. I guess all the books of the series are like that. I've never read any of them. I actually watched Bridgerton just this year and several months ago for the first time. The whole 3 seasons, probably in one day. And I couldn't put it down, you know? This is the kind of the book that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how it works, you know? Everyone is saying that you can learn this kind of stuff, like learn how to catch the attention. So I kind of stopped reading The Historian because I thought I would, well, I don't want to read The Historian today, so I'm going to read this other book, so just to take a break. And then I couldn't put it down, and I finished it, and I didn't sleep till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which is awful for me. I can't not sleep at night. I go to bed at maybe 9 o'clock every day. I read until maybe 10, sometimes 11 when something happens, you know. And it's awful for me. I feel, you know, completely broken the next day if I don't sleep enough, if I don't sleep okay, if I don't sleep the whole night. And yet I repeated the same mistake the next night. So I read it probably in 3 nights, maybe 2, maybe 4, can't remember, probably 3. And after reading it, I thought, okay, An Offer from a Gentleman, for different reasons, but it keeps me awake, and too much actually, but still. And The Historian, I just can't make myself read it. And then I remembered that all the writers, all the scientists that study philology and linguistics and literature, and all the book bloggers, book YouTubers, booktubers say, if you don't like the book, don't finish it. That's okay. And yet I'm saying this right now, and I can't say I don't believe it, but it's uncomfortable for me. You know what I mean? It's like, no, why? And but with The Historian, I just decided to try. I thought, okay, I can't read it. I can't. At the same time, I wanted to know what happens. And that's why I switched to audiobook. And I listened to the audiobook, so I finished The Historian. It was, actually, I don't know what to say. You know, it's interesting, it's exciting. The idea is familiar and new at the same time, because it's a new reading of the familiar idea, I would say that. The characters are okay. I can't say I have a favorite though, or even a character I hate. Probably all of them are kind of plain, maybe that's the reason. But you know, I can only say nice things, maybe not genius, maybe not great, but nice things about the book. And yet I can't say I liked it. I can't say I disliked it. It just gave me no emotion and no... Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's a nice book, probably. That's it. Think of it what you will, because I don't know what to think. But the next book I actually started to read a long time ago, but I switched to something else. It's in Finnish, so it's difficult for me. It's not just whether I'm enjoying it or not, whether I like it or not. It's a challenge. It's Finnish, and it's in Finnish, and it's not adapted. It's a usual, real book in the Finnish language, and it's very specific. It's as you can see, about vampires, and the language is, well, I know the word blood, for example, in Finnish, and the word I don't know, fangs and suck. What else do you need when you're reading about vampires? But still, there are, you know, a lot of specific words, and I need my translator a lot when I'm reading this. So it turns into not just, I will relax and read a book, but into a challenge, into studying, into, you know, working. It gives me a little bit of resistance also. But it is also unusual. The vampire thing is the usual thing, but who turns out to be vampires? That was a twist, you know. I just started it, but it is already like, whoa! I'm hoping it will get more interesting, not like The Historian that gets kind of fades away. It's beautiful. The outside and the inside, we have a real map where everything is happening. Puola, it's Poland. Sveitsi, this is Switzerland. And Ranska, it's France. And so far, everything is happening in France. And you see there is a bat holding the France's name. Some of the countries there are just names, the ribbons and the name on the ribbon. Some of them have the crown above it, like Poland and Russia and Ruotsi. Mikä se on? Sweden. Of course, Sweden. And some of them have bats on top of their names, like France, where everything is happening, England, Spain, Portugal, and Italy, whatever. So I think that means something. There is also some kind of a law, kuolevaisten laki. Kuole is death. Sorry, when I start mixing a lot of languages, it's too much. My brain like faints. There is kind of a pyramid. On the top of the pyramid there are vampyrit. They are vampires. Lääkärit are, Jesus Christ, doctors. Maanomistajat. En tiedä. Aattelittomat. I think it's aristocracy. So I think it means that vampires rule everything and everyone, and all the other like peoples are beneath them. Okay, I don't think I I told you the name of the book. The Court of Darkness, probably. I don't know the name in English. The Court of Darkness, probably it will be the right translation. By Victor Dixon. He's French, as I know, and everything is happening in France in this book, and it's about vampires. And I started it during the spooky season, and that's why it's about vampires. And I didn't finish it because I'm a very slow reader. What are you going to do about it? That's okay. I'm a slow reader and I can't read very fast. And I will finish my spooky season book in my Christmas season. If you haven't finished anything from autumn yet, that's okay too. And if you haven't finished anything from last year, that's okay too. But try to not procrastinate, you know. If you want to finish it, just try to, just one step at a time, you know. Try a little bit. I hope you enjoyed our time together as much as I did. I'm going to have lunch, and then I'm going to do my homework, finish homework, and then I'm going to knit until the evening. As always, I hope you have time for knitting, for crochet, for crafting, for any crafting that you like. I hope you have time for you, for your family, for your children, for everything that is important for you. For your garden, maybe. It's winter, but it's summer somewhere, right? Australia, maybe? I hope you are happy right now. I hope you are happy tomorrow. And, you know, just focus on being happy in the next hour. Just for an hour. And then for the next. And then for the next. It's easier this way. Thank you for being with me. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.